Let's try that again. In our continuation of natural surfaces, I'm going to handle gravel next, rocks, just plain old rocks. This will be a real simple and short one again because I'm totally losing my voice. But you'll notice right off the bat, for all intents and purposes, I am cheating. And yes, I am. I have a picture here of some gravel. I didn't take it, but I could have if it wasn't for the fact that it's 11 o'clock at night and rolling up to the Logan's steakhouse that has gravel in the front near where I live with a flashlight and a camera is likely to get me arrested. Now, I think the world of you all, but I'm not going to get arrested for trespassing in the middle of the night and have that show up in the newspaper. I'm not going to do that for anybody. So here's a picture of some gravel. Love it. Okay. But normally, seriously, take your own pictures. I mean, you know, wait until it's daylight and go find some gravel or whatever it is you need, some dirt. It's not that hard. Yet, still, I managed to not do it myself. Anywho, now this is obviously a photo, so therefore it falls under the category of photorealistic texture. And what we could do is we could just, simply fix that in a tiling, um, use our little tiling trick that prevents seams from showing up. And all we have to do for that is just hit Control J or Command J, whatever it is, and go to Filter, Other, Offset, probably still set to, 400 by 400. 50% of your image's width and height. And hit OK. Go to your eraser tool, punch out the center, and then make it very, very small. No more than, say, 50. And then just erase the exact middles and the exact center of your top texture, the one that you did the offset to, and maybe erase a little bit more. Now, if someone was to really take a close look at this, well, A, that means they're probably not winning the game if they're spending this much time looking at the gravel. But you never know. Sadly, I'm one of those people that actually looks at texture maps in games. You can see here where, like, this little piece of gravel and this little piece of gravel seem to be fading into each other. Well, that's because I used, in my eraser tool, I used 0% hardness, which allows for the edges of whatever is being erased to fade out. Now, watch what happens when I just erase this little rock right here. So you can still see a little bit of it. I'm going to undo that. But that's the logic behind that. Now that I've offset that, let's go ahead and do save for web and devices, save for web, whatever it's called in this version. Okay, there it is. I'm going to, again, change the output settings. I probably still need to do that from last time. Of course I do. And then hit preview. And with any luck, there are no seams. And in fact, there are indeed no seams, nor should there be. Having seams showing up in your future projects in Blender, and especially if they get as far as into an in-game environment in Unity, that's going to be at least a half a letter grade off. So don't let that happen to you because it's very easy to prevent in most cases. Now, when we get into UV mapping, I've seen that go horribly, horribly wrong and had to pretty much start all over with an object so for that very reason. So I won't say that it's always easy to fix. Anywho, we'll go ahead and quit that. Jump out of this. Hit cancel. Now what I can do, next, if I want this to look not photoreal, if I want it to look painted, well, I can just go to Filter Gallery and realize that I haven't merged my layers. So let's see here. If I can get this to Well, that's not going to do it, so I'm just going to collapse that there. And we're going to go to Filter Gallery and go with something artistic. Actually, that's pretty cool right there, watercolor. But there are others. Fresco. I've already done watercolor, that's what I started out with. Underpainting, we don't want to really go with because that's, well, for one thing, it's um, you can't even tell what it is. And I seriously doubt there's going to be any mixing and matching of these settings to ever make it look realistic. Same with sponge. Um, Poster edges. Now, poster edges might work. Just to kind of adjust these settings a little bit here. It's a little bit too cartoony, but that looks pretty spiffy. All right, that looks like that was drawn with someone using a pencil or a pen, something like that. Now let's see what else we can come up with. And again, it's just a matter of your style. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Let's try that again. Um, Smudge stick. Let me bring this down some here. Intensity down. It's not so obvious. Definitely more of a cartoony look there. Um, Film grain, again, makes it a little bit more abstract. Fresco is just a bit too much. There's not a whole lot you can do with that. Neon glow, I think it's pretty obvious. The answer here is no. We can go with cutout. Now that's I haven't really even figured out what this is supposed to do, but it is a cool texture. Look at that. That would probably get my vote. What I'm going to do though, actually, I'll show you the other two first. Um, Dry brush. That's a little bit too abstract, and I can't really tell what it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this layer. I'm going to go to Filter Gallery, go to Cutout, and I'm going to do Multiply, like that. Now it looks very, very hand-drawn. So that is how you could get a CGI looking texture that looks like someone spent hours drawing it by hand in Photoshop or painting it and then scanning it into Photoshop without spending hours drawing it in Photoshop or painting it and then scanning it in, which is what we're trying to make it look like. So that's how we cheat. And I actually know for a fact that there are, in a game that is as artistic. Actually, that's not the word I want to use. All games are artistic. In a game that is supposed to look like a painting, such as World of Warcraft, and I apologize for that I keep bringing that up, where all the textures are actually scanned in or digitally painted paintings, which is one of the reasons I love the game, because it's like playing inside a painting. That's what got me into it in the first place. Blizzard texture artists have actually used real photographs, and a lot of them are on the ground. So if you look at some of the ground textures in Photoshop, like where the crops are, the rows of crops, such as an Elwyn forest or whatever, where there's like plants growing, that came from. I'm willing to bet. I mean, it's not like Blizzard has actually given me a tour or anything. I wish, but that comes from real photographs. So there is our photo our CGI looking texture that was made, basically reverse engineered from a real photo. Now let's see if it's going to tile properly though. They're offset 400 by 400. Now see what we've got here. Let's just go ahead and show you what's going on here, because I can see a huge tiling problem. I bet you can too. It's that line right there and right down there. So right there, Tim Birch, being the jerk professor that he is in video game design, is going to count me off for that. And it's really kind of strange too, because you've got that line that's running through where there really shouldn't be any seams. So that's actually going to present a problem. I mean, it's even going to be hard to get rid of using our usual technique. There we go. There's the offset. And I'm going to just take a look at something here. No, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, let's just go straight to this. See if we can save a step. And there it is. It's gone. I just had to do offset twice. No, I'll take it back. Look, there it is. There it is. Yep, I can see that seam. And things like that just really, really bug me. So, not really for sure what we're going to do about this. You have to bring it back. And then use that technique again with the eraser. I'm going to hold the shift key down. And do it in a plus sign shape here. And then punch out the middle. Now, I can tell this is going to be a bit of a problem. This is a problem I was alluding to here a minute ago. A pattern is going to form. And a pattern is not as bad as a seam when you're tiling a texture, which in UV mapping doesn't come up a whole lot, but it does in some cases. We're going to see a pattern show up here. See the pattern here, line, 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 big circle, big circle, big circle. Not cool. And what that is resulting from is, for some reason, this is... Actually, let me try something else here. Let me collapse that. Sorry about that. And we'll try it one last time. Because I think that was set to multiply originally. That's what was causing our problem. And you see right through there, I've got some stones that are lighter than others. That's also going to create a pattern. Maybe. So I may have to come back to that as well. But let's try it now. Okay. That works the way it's supposed to. Again, I don't see any seams. I'm not seeing any patterns. Well, I mean, actually I am, because, there's the rock. There's the rock again. There it is. But again, if someone was paying that much attention to your textures, they probably expect it, because every game's like this. So there it is. Some painterly, that's what we call it, gravel textures. In other words, this looks like it was hand painted or digitally painted. No one needs to know that it came from a picture of real gravel. And we're going to use this technique a lot for other surfaces, where it's just going to take too much time to create all the tiny little details in a particular surface. Rust, you can use this on anything, but rust, steel itself, all kinds of stuff where it's just too complex to paint originally if you just don't have the time. And in video game design, you never have the time. That is a more than acceptable industry standard substitute for starting from scratch. All right, thanks for watching.